What's going on, YouTube? Reezonoticz back once again. Second video review of the day, Saturday, November 26th. Coming at you with a PlayStation 3 review. Long overdue. Had the game for a little bit under a month now. Y'all know it's my favorite fighting game franchise of all time. Been dying to own this game, and now that I do, I'm finally going to come at you with the full review. When I first got it, I showed you it in a video update, gave it a little tiny mini review. Now I'm going to give it a real full in-depth review. And that is none other than Mortal Kombat on the PlayStation 3. This game is right here for me. It's right here because the franchise has always been right here. Since I was 9, 10 years old, walking down International Mall, that's a mall here in Miami for those of y'all that don't know, with my parents and my family, and it was just like a touch of destiny that told me, look to your right. And when I looked to my right, in slow motion, I saw in the arcade this cabinet of a game called Mortal Kombat, and at the exact moment I saw the screen, it just happened to be in demo mode where Sub-Zero was ripping Liu Kang's spine out. And that was just like shocking to me. I was like, holy crap. I had been a Street Fighter fan, but then I saw that and I was like, oh, this is real. This is more violent. This is something different. Mom, give me quarters. I'm going to the arcade. That was the reaction, you know what I'm saying? So ever since then, that franchise has been right here. It's had some great games. Well, to me, all of them have been, in some way or another, awesome games because I'm such a fan of the franchise and the story and the characters. But I'll be honest, some games have been amazing, while other games have been a bit of a letdown. When they got into the 3D fighting with the Deadly Alliance, I thought was amazing. Deception, I thought was okay. You know, it was like a more beefed up roster of Deadly Alliance. But then came out Armageddon. I loved Armageddon. But I'm glad to see now them bringing it back to the roots. Traditional 2D fighting, albeit that the environment and the camera work makes it 3D. That's amazing. That's an advantage that we have with next generation consoles. But the core of the fighting, the mechanics of the fighting is back to the old school 2D, back and forth. Man, this game, where do I start, man? They got so many Mortal Kombat games. Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, Ultimate 3, 4, Deadly Alliance, Special Forces, Shaolin Monks, Deception, Armageddon, on and on and on. Mythology, Sub-Zero, Mortal Kombat vs. DC. So many. The franchise has spanned over the last 10, 15 years easily with no problem and no threat of dying out. It's always got fans. But the story can only go so far. The story of Mortal Kombat is the best story I have ever seen in any fighting game. I will debate that with anybody. You bring Street Fighter, you bring Tekken, you bring DOA, you bring Soul Calibur, which also has a great story. I will debate you to the death. Mortal Kombat has the best fighting game story. It is the most immersive, thought-provoking, epic story in a fighting game franchise ever. Period. I don't want to hear it. I'll debate anybody and I'll win. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? So the story could only go so far. We've been with the same story, evolving it and going forward and getting crazier and crazier as each installment drops. Well, in this one they said, let's take it back to the beginning. Let's take it back to the roots, not just in gameplay, not just in the mechanics of the game, but let's take it back to the beginning in the story. Because in the last one, Armageddon, we're at the end. It's Armageddon. It's the end of all things. Let's take it back to the beginning, and let's give it a new concept wherein instead of going through the exact same storyline to reach Armageddon, now we're going through a whole brand new storyline with new twists and turns that never happened in the original timeline to avoid Armageddon. The concept is brilliant. So the way the game opens up, when you do the story mode, which is where the real fun is. I mean, the game is awesome all around, but the story mode is epic. Because the story mode, you feel like you're living and playing a movie for Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. And it's epic. It's epic. It's better than the second Mortal Kombat movie, that's for sure. But anyways, it starts off with, Armageddon. You just see everybody destroyed. Sonya, Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, all the 30, 40 different characters that have come through the timeline of Mortal Kombat, all of them just ripped to shreds, dead on the floor in front of that pyramid from Armageddon. Then at the very top of the pyramid, Raiden and Shao Kahn are ready to fight. And Shao Kahn is beating the crap out of Raiden. And Raiden is about to die. And as he's about to die, he looks into his amulet. His amulet falls off of him and breaks. And so he picks up the pieces and he forges it together. And he's praying to the Elder Gods right before Shao Kahn's going to kill him. And then he looks up and he just says, he must win. Those are his last words. He must win. And then it goes like on this time warp flash. Like it's going back through all the visions that Raiden's having. And you see visions of, Goro. You see visions of the first tournament, the second tournament, the third tournament, Armageddon, Onaga, Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung, boom, 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 boom. All this all the way back to the beginning, and then all of a sudden it's like Raiden snaps out of it, and he's standing on Shang Tsung's island in the courtyard with Liu Kang next to him, and a bunch of fighters, and Shang Tsung presiding over the first Mortal Kombat tournament. So it goes back in time. Raiden sent himself a message to the past, from his future self to his past self, to warn his past self not to go down this road the same way, because we're going to end up with Shao Kahn winning. And we can't have that. You have to change something in the timeline to make this Armageddon not happen. That's the essence of the story. Then basically, you know, you go playing through the story as all these different characters. You start off as Johnny Cage, then you play as Sonya, then you play as Raiden, then you play as Liu Kang, then you play as Sub-Zero and Scorpion and Kung Lao. Everybody. You play as everybody by the end of it. I mean, not exactly everybody, because there's about 30 characters in this game. But you do play as a bunch of them. You play as Smoke, you play as Reptile. I mean, you go through this whole thing. You play as Cabal, Striker. And this storyline literally takes you flawlessly through Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. Flawlessly. And it's amazing. The graphics, the narrative, everything in it is amazing. You go through the first Mortal Kombat, and the whole time you're going through the story mode, Raiden is trying to figure out what it is he has to change. And the way he knows that he's not doing it right is he keeps looking at his amulet, and every time he thinks he does something right, it keeps breaking. And he's like, that's how he knows, but we still haven't known what we have to do. So it's just epic, man. The fighting is phenomenal. The martial arts in this game is authentic. The animations are crisp. You feel like when you're really in a heated fight, and there's a lot of blocks and counters and everything, you just feel like this is fighting, man. This is martial arts. You know, no offense to Street Fighter fans, because I love Street Fighter 2, but it's not Hadouken and spinning kick and you go right through the guy. No, it's hard-hitting fights, man. It's the sound effects, the movement, the blocks, the kicks, the combos. They're not out of this world ridiculous. They're legit-looking combos. There's a new feature called the X-ray moves. You know, Mortal Kombat's always been brutal and hard-hitting. So the X-ray moves, when you have a certain amount of your power meter charged up, you can pull off an X-ray move where your fighter goes in and does an attack in slow motion that hits so hard that the camera zooms in to the opponent's body where you hit them and goes through their skin, and you see their X-ray, like their skeleton or their organs, break and start to bleed and get impacted by those moves. So it's real brutal, real hard-hitting. The characters, as the fight goes on, get damaged badly, bleeding, slash, clothes ripped, muscles exposed in some cases, just beat to hell. It's amazing. The character roster is awesome. You have, to start off, without any downloadable content, you have it easily, see if I see it here, it doesn't tell me, but you have easily, I'd say, 24 to 25 characters to pick from right off the bat, before you unlock anybody and before you download anybody. And the downloadable characters are amazing. You have Rain, you have Freddy Krueger, which is awesome. You have, Starlet or Scarlet, I forgot her name. You have a bunch of people to download from. But back to the game itself. The fighting is phenomenal. The story mode is great. They introduced, or they brought back, I should say, 2-on-2 combat where you have tag teams. That's awesome. They have a whole ladder mode where you can play the arcade mode as a tag team and go against tag teams till you reach the top, and you can win the game that way. The stages are all back and done beautifully. The graphics, especially on the PlayStation 3 version, are just phenomenal. It really puts you in Shang Tsung's island or in Outworld or wherever. So, the controls are spot on. It's classic Mortal Kombat controls. The combos are easy to pull off, but very difficult to master if you want to become a beast like I am. You know what I'm saying? It's just Mortal Kombat. It's back to its brilliance. It's back to its glory. You know what I'm saying? So, graphics, I gotta give it a 10. They did an outstanding job on everybody's character models. Fun factor, 10. It's Mortal Kombat, and it's one of the best fighting games ever. Lasting appeal, a bunch. I didn't even get to go over all the features in this game. The review's already over. You got online, you got tag mode, you got one-on-one mode, you got everything. You got story mode, training, the crypt is back where you unlock all your secret stuff. It's just wonderful, man. Mortal Kombat gets a 10 out of 10 for me. The great tournament is back. God bless y'all. Stay gaming.